Hello, and welcome to another exciting edition of Word on the Street. For this week 3 Word on the Street video, we've been asked to describe a good customer service experience as well as a bad one, and how we would have rectified the bad one to make it a good one. So both of these scenarios uh, revolve around the same event and the customer service from two different people that I received that to solve the problem, and one that couldn't solve the problem. Um, when I first started my active duty job with the military, somehow my information got put in the computer incorrectly. So my first paycheck was about half of what it should have been. So I called our finance office and I asked them about it, and they said, "Well, you're not getting your housing allowance." So they couldn't really explain to me why I wasn't getting the housing allowance, but I was supposed to be getting it, and it was not on the check. So I started talking to them and looking around, and they were very unwilling to help. It didn't affect their pay. They were getting paid appropriately. So I seemed like I was on my own to deal with this thing. I sent several emails, several calls, no responses. I had supervisors email, still no responses, no answers. I got lots of "I'm checking," um, but no, here's what we're going to do, here's how we can solve it, here's why it's a problem. I would have been okay with it taking 6 months if I knew why it was taking 6 months, if there was an actual problem somewhere. But there was no reason for it, no explanation for it. They just didn't know. So I went almost 6 months getting only half of a paycheck. And the entire 6 months, every 2 weeks, I would send an email. The finance office would get snippy with me. They would get mad for calling so much. They'd get mad that I had supervisors calling. But at the end of the day, I'm entitled to my pay. I need my pay to pay my bills, and they weren't giving it to me. So it was about 6 months after that, the whole issue with our finance office. Um, they could have easily solved the problem by taking time out of their day, diving into the record, figuring out what happened, why it happened, because they are the office that puts the orders in. They're the office that sets the pay. They're the office that's responsible for all of that. So somebody in that office knew what was going on, but nobody would take the time out of their day from everything else they were doing to figure out why my pay was affected. So almost 6 months go by where I'm only getting half a paycheck, and I get a call from an airman in California. And I answered the phone. He said, "Hey, I heard you're new to our base here, and I wanted to make sure that you don't need anything." Um, he worked in their finance office, by the way. Um, and I said, "Well, actually, I don't work at your base in California. I've actually never been to California. But since I have you on the phone, maybe you can help me with what I need." So I explained the whole situation to him. I said, "Hey, here's the deal. Started my AGR job, and I still have not received my BAH. It's been almost 6 months. I need to figure out what's going on. Is there any way that you can look at my record and see why I'm not getting my BAH?" He said, "Well, give me 30 minutes and I'll call you right back." And he took my phone number down. He took my email just in case that he didn't get the phone number down correctly as well. And it was less than 30 minutes. He called me back and he said, "Hey, your problem's fixed." I said, "Really? It's that easy? It's been 6 months and nobody's been able to fix it." He goes, "Yeah, there was a box that wasn't checked correctly. So I checked the box and it's fixed." I was like, "You got to be kidding me." And he said, "Nope, it's fixed. You are good to go. Your next paycheck should have your BAH on it." He says, "As a matter of fact, I'm going to call you on the 15th to make sure that you got it. And if you didn't get it, I will make sure that you get it by the next paycheck. And it will be backdated from the day you got your AGR position." I was like, "Holy cow. It's been 6 months and nobody could fix this thing. And now this dude fixes it in less than 30 minutes just by checking a box?" I was like, "That's impossible." Well, sure enough, 15th rolls around and I got my back pay for all of my BH that I was missing. So, true to his word, he called me on the 15th just to make sure that it was on my paycheck, and it was there. So I told him thank you for his help, and he was able to fix something that an entire office of people in my base couldn't fix. Um, so I ended up taking down the name of his direct supervisor and writing her a letter about how engaged her subordinate was. He didn't have to go out of his way to do that for me. I don't work there. never have worked there, never going to see the guy again in my life. But he went out of his way to make sure that I was taken care of. And that was the kind of customer service that we didn't get at my base. So I wrote a letter for this young man, and hopefully he got some kind of recognition for it, for going so far above and beyond what he actually needed to. But that's the kind of customer service that, especially a finance office, I mean, don't mess with people's insurance, their family, or their money, or their food. And this guy had enough fortitude to know that somebody needed to be taken care of, and he did it. So pretend that other people's problems are your problems. It might not affect you directly, but it affects them enough to bring it to you. And money issues, especially, people got to pay their bills. A money problem is not a good problem to have. Anytime anybody has an issue with payroll, it should be taken extremely seriously. And I would argue that your payroll department should be the highest trained people in the building, because we talk about how the internal customer and their happiness drives the success of your business in relation with the external customers. If your internal customers aren't getting paid, they're not going to work for you. They will go somewhere else where they get paid on time and enough money to do what they're doing. They want to feel valued for their job. They want to be compensated for the job they're doing. And even the guy who loves his job the most still does not want to do it for free. He doesn't want to come to your place and work 40 hours and not get a paycheck, unless he's truly a volunteer and that's what he's doing. But if he's doing a job for money, he expects his money when it's due to him. And his lenders and creditors and bill companies, they all expect their money when it's due to them as well. So as far as alleviating the problem of poor customer service in my specific situation, pretending that their problems are your problems, or trying to put yourself in their shoes and thinking of how you would be affected if that happened to you, would kind of help drive the situation a little bit better. It would kind of steer your customer service in the direction that you would want it. And chances are, if you wouldn't want somebody to ignore your problem when it came to money, you probably shouldn't ignore theirs either. But outside of that, the poor customer service could have been alleviated with those simple steps. And the gentleman in the finance office in California did an outstanding job. And had it not been for him, I probably still wouldn't be getting my BAH. And we joke all the time now when there's finance issues at our base about calling the guy in California, because he can fix just about anything. So, well, this has been the week 3 Word on the Street. And again, all of my views are my views only, and not the views of anybody that I work for, affiliate with, or enjoy hanging out with. So thank you all, and have a good day.